record, and we are now recording again. And I wish we could do it in Teams. لأنه هيدي Teams we wouldn't have to go through all of this again and again and again. It's really annoying. Okay, participants, admit all. Okay, so we are saying, to recapture a bit of what we were saying, that we seem to be seeing here a religious ritual. We know from external evidence that this is a religious ritual. A religious ritual to the goddess Inanna. But we seem to be saying something else. And that thing is, in fact, the order of civilization, which is, as we have said, a particular organization, a particular social organization in relation to a particular environment. This association of a social organization from its environment is always artificial. Very simply put, if you don't have water, a river to take water from, or your civilization won't survive. So the way that you organize yourself in relation to the environment is, in fact, part of your social order. And the Sumerians understood this perhaps even better than we modern people, with our idea of a separation between culture and nature, a silly idea of separation between culture and nature. So what do we see then? What we see is water. What we see is the grains. What we see are the animals, people, which, as we say, in this case, are actual priests, and the gods. Either here, this is the god Tammuz, who is the consort of Inanna, or somebody representing the god Tammuz, or perhaps the king of Uruk. So what are we seeing, in fact? What we are seeing is water, agriculture, animals, dawajin, حيوانات, animals that were des animaux qui ont été domestiqués, domesticated animals, du peuple, people, and فوقهم هن الأشخاص اللي عم نشوفهم هون. Well, what does this imply? Among other things that it implies is, in effect, that a single artwork can describe in a single image two things at the same time, perfectly in both cases. It can describe ritual, religious ritual, and it can describe the economic order. What this tells us is that the religious ritual is, in effect, representing the social order. Now, why would the religious ritual need to represent the social order? Well, one of the consequences of this religious order representing the religious ritual representing the social order is a legitimization of this religious order. We are giving it legitimacy by representing it. I'll give you one example, very simple. Supposing you go to a church, and in that church, it's a special occasion, and you have the prime minister, the minister, the head of the parliament, and the president of the republic. Where are they going to be seated? وين بيقعدون? Where do they seat them?
أول صف.
Exactly. What are they saying by seating them أول صف?
يعني they are the most important in society.
Hierarchically superior to the ones behind them. مظبوط? What does this tell us about this hierarchy? What is the attitude of the church in relation to this hierarchy? What is the church saying? What is this ritual saying in relation to this hierarchy? Is it refusing this hierarchy? Or is it giving it legitimacy?
No, it's giving it legitimacy.
It's giving them, yeah, it's giving it.
Understand what I'm saying? This is exactly the same thing. And this is a constant of civilization. And this is, in effect, a fundamental role of art. The vase that you see here is, in fact, representing a ritual, or, in fact, playing a role within a ritual. And the role it plays within the ritual is, in fact, a continuation of the function of this ritual, or the effect, rather, of this ritual. The effect of this ritual being a legitimization of the social order, and the legitimization of the economic order. What does this mean? Well, what it means is something that we will see throughout civilization for the next thousands of years. I would say up till the French Revolution, before that, up till the American Revolution. This profound link between the religious rituals and the legitimacy of the state. The pharaohs understood it. Iskandar al-Makhduni, Alexander the Great understood it. Augustus Caesar understood it. Louis XIV understood. They all understood it. And in every one of these instances of a justification of the state through ritual, religion, what we see is artworks playing a fundamental role. Art playing a role in this. And we are going to see it in the pyramids. We're going to see it with the cult of the personality, with Augustus Caesar, etc., etc., etc. What we see then is two things at the same time: religion, economy, politics, hierarchy. That's four things. All combined in a single synthetic description. Synthetic meaning it contains all of these things in a harmonious relationship. This, in effect, implies not only a view of society, it also implies, it will also lead to a view of the cosmos. That's gonna lead to a cosmological view. For the Sumerians, the cosmos is organized hierarchically. And this is a new event. What I mean by the cosmos is organized hierarchically. The cosmos, the goddess that you see here, is associated to a star, the star of Venus. Inanna is associated with a star. So what does this tell us about the cosmos? How do they view the cosmos? Stars are above the king, such as Gilgamesh, who is two-third god, one-third human, is in the middle, and below that are the ordinary humans. And below them are what? Well, below them are the animals. And below them are the objects, such as the plants. And below that, even lower, is the water. So what do we see here? What we see here is a cosmological organization, reorganization of the universe. And this cosmological reorganization of the universe in terms of hierarchy, we are still living with it today. Somebody, I think it was Abed, was asking me, is it justifiable to treat animals as we did? The meat industry. Weren't you talking about that, Abed? Where is it?
Yeah. We talked about this at the beginning.
Okay. You're asking that question. How do we justify this? Very simply by saying they're lower than we are. This, in effect, is an emergence of civilization. You remember the dead man, the shaman in the Lascaux cave?
Yeah.
Well, we said that he was in effect confronting the buffalo and killing him, and the buffalo was killing him back. And we discovered, in effect, that this isn't about death. This was about the trance state. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you. We understood that, in effect, the buffalo is a spirit. Is what we might describe as from the world of the what we will describe as the world of the sacred. You notice something. The shaman, in his dealing with the buffalo, was dealing with him as an equal foe, as an equal enemy, as an equal adversary. Their view of these the spiritual beings. They view them hierarchically. They viewed them as more or less very dangerous, but more or less equal to them. Why? Because their society was an egalitarian society. We described how, in fact, their society is egalitarian. What happened? Well, what happened is that the emergence of social hierarchy, the attitude towards these supernatural beings changed. Humans projected their own social hierarchy onto the universe. The universe, the whole of it, became hierarchical. And all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, progressively, of course, but now we have gods. Now we have kings. Now we have, nobles, ordinary humans, and then the animals that we can kill in the meat industry as much as we want. And below that is the objects.
But like, can I say something? إنه it's not يعني منه مزبوط مثل ما هن ماشيين بس لأنه هيك عملوا. لا إنه that animals are lower than us.
You're confusing two things, Rita. You're confusing two things. You're confusing the descriptive with the prescriptive. We are here describing. We are not prescribing. Prescriptive is, we say how we should act. We don't know. Okay. Descriptive, we're simply describing here something that occurred. And what occurred is, in fact, an enormous change in humanity. Our vision of the universe changed. And this vision of the universe, this change in the vision of the universe, is in fact a reflection of our social hierarchy. We reorganized in our mind. We reorganized the universe in terms of these social hierarchy. This is, in fact, a momentous event. It organizes our relationships to each other. It organizes our relationship to nature. It organizes our relationships to objects. There are some indications, and on this, anthropologists have some disagreement, of course, as usual. But there are some indications that the first religions are what we might describe as animistic. What do we mean by animistic? Animistic is this idea that all objects contain some form of soul in them. And we see this we still see this today in Japanese, the oldest religion in Japan, because Japan has a stratification of religions. That mountains are spiritual beings, that rocks are spiritual beings that should be treated in some way, not in another. What the animistic view implied was a more or less egalitarian relationship with the universe. That all things are or deserve at least some level of respect. That my relation to them should be in some way or another respectful. This completely disappeared with the hierarchization of humanity, of the universe. Today, we don't view buffaloes as the people of the Paleolithic viewed buffaloes. We don't respect them that much. We don't treat objects such as a cave as something that has a soul, which is the way that, to my view, and that's my hypothesis, I'm not sure it's correct, that they viewed the cave itself. We don't view the universe as a relationship among equals. We have organized the universe hierarchically, implying, among other things, the full justification of our exploitation of nature. This is something that you see in more or less all civilizations, except perhaps the Japanese in some aspects of their thinking. Is this good? Is this bad? Again, we live pretty comfortable lives. Would you, we have universities, we have hospitals, we have pretty much everything that we see around us was produced by this approach. Whether it's good or bad, that's another question. So what does this vase indicate to us? What it indicates is a series of characteristics that we will see in all other civilizations up till this day. We might think that civilization has changed because we have the iPhone. That's a superficial evolution compared to the foundations. We, like the Sumerians, still based ourselves on agriculture. We, like the Sumerians, still believe in private property. We, like the Sumerians, have lived in a social hierarchy. We, like the Sumerians, used writing in order to remember things. We, like the Sumerians, in fact, in all the most basic aspects of our lives, we still live like the Sumerians. And eventually, of course, the Egyptians. So this idea that there is some difference, fundamental difference between us and them is in effect quite, yes, of course, there are enormous differences. But in the foundations, we are still more or less the same. Any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes, go ahead.
هيك side question. Do you think, and I always say, إنه humans are smart, يعني we underestimate خصوصا our ancestors قديش they were intelligent.
Yeah.
But had we been actually intelligent, do you think we would actually need these systems and religions and order to get things
going and organized?
Probably. Not sure, but I mean, there were. This is the discussion between what would be the viewers of more egalitarian societies and those. But I would say our intelligence could be, in effect, something that would force us towards these systems. Our intelligence might be something that would lead us to be highly competitive with each other and would lead us to need to find some way of organizing this competition between us. That if this competition is not organized, it will very rapidly degenerate into violence. That's
okay.
Hmm?
Which means إنه maybe we're not that intelligent لأنه we're relying on them يعني في need إنه بلاقيهم نحن ما بنقدر. Which means إنه there's في شيء we're not that intelligent maybe. We're not using it.
مزبوط.
Necessarily. I mean, you seem to disassociate civilization from intelligence. Intelligence is not only individual. Intelligence is inter-individual. And the very, very simple example of this, I might have mentioned it before, and I don't remember, is somebody, I don't know, like, who's the, I don't know, somebody like Einstein. Would he have been able to produce what he produced if he did not have the support of his civilization? If he had lived in some remote village, or if he had lived during the Paleolithic in some remote tribe. Intelligence is inter-individual. It's the society, it's a society that are intelligent. That's why I always am annoyed that they're so proud of Lebanese who, the Lebanese who get prizes in Canada or the US. Yeah, they got prizes in Canada and the US because they had the support of Canada and the US. Their achievements is not only individual achievements, it's in fact collective achievements.
But like it starts أول شيء فيهم يعني بتبلش منهم and then
Of course, there is in fact a element of individuality. Not everybody is going. Yes, and not everybody is going to have the intelligence of an Einstein. Even given the same exact social conditions, they won't be able to produce what he produced. Certainly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Einstein, without these conditions, would not have been able to produce what he produced either. Does they? So yes.
I wanted to ask
it's fashionable. It's in a very, very superficial way. And we can say, okay, civilization is bad, but actually it has produced quite a few good things. Although it has produced absolutely horrifying things as well. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
بدي أسأل إنه أمتين فينا نقول it's a purely individual achievement. And can we say إنه السلام الداخلي أو التصالح مع النفس is an individual achievement?
Okay, you used words, internal peace and reconciliation with yourself, right? Where did you get words?
ما سمعت.
Where did you hear them? Where did you hear the words internal peace and reconciliation with yourself?
I read about them actually.
You read about them on the internet?
No, from a book.
Okay, good, excellent. The book. Was the book something that you created?
No.
Okay,
not
so
really.
who created the book?
Oh, yeah, so that answers my question. So it's from the help of someone else.
From the help, and that
I never thought of this.
No, a person would never.
ولا مرة فكرت فيها.
He would never have been able to create this book had he not had help of others. So intelligence is never individual. Intelligence is in a sense, it might be that humans develop their intelligence to deal with each other, because in fact they are their most dangerous enemies mutually. To be able to deal with the complexity of social relationships. We know this in fact.
دكتور عم بقطش الصوت.
Yeah, sorry. من عندك. We know in fact that social animals tend to be more intelligent than individual animals. Dogs are very intelligent. Dolphins are very intelligent. Wolves, you know, all social animals, except bees, but social animals, social mammals tend to be very, very intelligent compared to the less social counterparts.
بس هي العكس انه isn't it they're social انه they are intelligent? Sorry.
No. I don't think so. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. It's not their intelligence that leads them to being social. Socialization is an instinct that precedes intelligence, that seemed to precede intelligence. It's not that they decided, okay, we are going to now create a society. So they sat on a table and decided, okay, now what should we do? Let's create a society. No, it's their instinct. It's your instinct that leads you to others. Your desire for social interaction precedes your intelligence. مظبوط يا مدام؟
Professor, طيب بهذا العصر in the 21st century, can there be a solely individual achievement بهذا العصر? Since we talked about all these factors and we mentioned all of these principles, so there cannot be an individual achievement. خلص يعني. It's already been done.
It's not a prison that you're living in. It's the absolute lack of individual. I see these people, for instance, going to the woods, wanting to live a life all by their own. And whatever, placing themselves in some island where they want to live alone. Okay, how did you get to the island? How did you get the very idea of going to that island? How did you know that this island existed? You know, you look at people of Uruk, for instance. They never left their village, or people from the Middle Ages, rather. They never left their village. They didn't know what was there. Did they know that there were islands there? How did you know that there was this island there that you could go to and, you know, stay there all alone and whatever? They played the Robinson Crusoe. You knew because somebody told you. How did somebody told you? They either went to explored it using a boat that somebody else built for them, or they used
Does that make Christopher Columbus
images. Sorry, go ahead.
You said that about the island thing. هلا لا طلعت براسي. So does that make Christopher Columbus in discovering America a personal or like an individual achievement?
No, it's not.
لأنه no one told him. He was just sailing. واكتشف إنه there's a land.
No.
بس كان في indigenous people.
No, it's not related. Even if there was nobody there, he read books. He used the boat that was given to him by the Spanish royalty. The Spanish royalty were able to build that boat because they could extract taxes from their agriculture, from the peasants. All of this allowed for what's his name, Christopher Columbus to so-called discover the Americas. There was a huge system of support under Christopher Columbus, without which, could they have built the 3 boats? Do you know what kind of technical skill it takes to build a boat? It was amazing, the achievements in terms of technical skills. You know, they would spend years learning how to do it. artisans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Any other questions? All right, we're gonna stop here today, and we'll see each other next week.
Yeah.
If somebody did not, I received quite a few people who sent me their questions. Okay, if somebody did not send me his question, you can still send it to me on WhatsApp. Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.